Street Hawk, an all-terrain attack motorcycle designed to fight urban crime, capable of incredible speeds up to 300 miles an hour.
Do you really think it's possible for anyone to drive a high-powered motorbike and take corners safely at 300 miles per hour? Nah, but that's the beauty of fiction, right? One man can do this.
The man, the machine, Street Hawk.
Street Hawk is an American action-adventure TV show from 1985, featuring the character Jesse Mack, played by Rex Smith, as an ex-motorcycle cop who now works as a police troubleshooter. He's recruited by a top-secret government organisation to ride Street Hawk, an all-terrain attack motorcycle designed to fight urban crime using advanced technological weaponry and computer-assisted guidance, enabling the bike to travel at speeds of up to 300 miles per hour. Only one season of Street Hawk was ever produced. This was mainly down to a gaffe on the part of America's ABC channel executives. The show was originally planned to air in a primetime 7 to 8 PM slot in the autumn of 1984. However, in an attempt to promote another TV show, Street Hawk was moved to a later time slot in January 1985 to make way for the other show. This resulted in lower than expected viewing figures, despite being very well received by the viewers that did watch it, so Street Hawk was never renewed for a second season. Now, it has to be said there are obvious parallels between Street Hawk and the generally more popular Knight Rider. Comparisons are inevitable, what with both main premises being about a crime fighter driving a cool black vehicle with super enhanced technological features. I recently watched all the Street Hawk episodes again for the first time in over 35 years, and I can definitely say that the quality and entertainment value still hold up, and in some aspects I think it probably outdoes Knight Rider. As it is though, Street Hawk generally doesn't seem to hold as much nostalgic value with the fans these days as Knight Rider does. But who knows, had those ABC executives made a different decision, who's to say we wouldn't have ended up with another 3 seasons, equaling the 4 seasons of Knight Rider that we were given. The pilot episode sets up the story that leads into the entire series, so let's take a look at how Jesse Mack came to be the man, the machine, Street Hawk. The 1 hour 10-minute pilot episode of Street Hawk opens with a motorcycle crew performing a heist on a police evidence transport van and successfully stealing 50 pounds of cocaine by giving the cops the slip through the streets and back alleys. Across the city, half the police force have gathered to place bets on an unauthorised motorcycle stunt jump performed by one of their own, Jesse Mack. In the background, a mysterious man is observing and filming the stunt for reasons unknown. Their fun is busted when Lieutenant Captain Altabelli turns up in a chopper and they all scarper. Unfortunately, Jesse and his partner Marty are spotted and they're called into the captain's office to face the music. They end up with a 2-week suspension as punishment. Cut to an office where the mysterious man who was filming the stunt is reviewing the footage of Jesse Mack with one of his superiors. They're looking for a skilled motorcyclist with a test pilot mentality for a mysterious project they've been working on for 4 years. Jesse and Marty are now passing their free time riding scramble bikes at a desert racetrack. Jesse is approached by the mystery cameraman who introduces himself as Norman Tuttle, a research engineer working for the federal government. He tries to recruit Jesse to the top secret government project, revealing a few details about how they would be working together. Jesse turns him down, explaining that he just doesn't trust feds. Jesse's partner Marty races out into the desert on his own first and stumbles across a drug deal being done by the gang responsible for the drug heist in the opening scene. Not expecting company, the gang leader, played by Christopher Lloyd, chases after Marty in his van and mercilessly kills him. Jesse races out into the desert after his partner and finds him lying dead next to his bike on the sand. Now in shock, Jesse turns round to see the gang leader's van rushing towards him and he's knocked down and left for dead. Jesse survives the attack and after hospital treatment, he's left with a devastating leg injury that will forever prevent him from riding a motorcycle as a street cop ever again. He's moved to a desk job in police public relations, and the investigation into Marty's murder stalls. Jesse is left feeling frustrated and powerless at his lack of opportunity to find justice for his dead partner. Norman Tuttle approaches Jesse again to recruit him for Operation Street Hawk, this time offering a new experimental medical procedure to repair his smashed knee with advanced prosthetics. This, along with the offer of testing a highly sophisticated prototype motorcycle, persuades Jesse to agree, so Norman goes ahead and takes him to see the Street Hawk Command Center and introduces him to the bike itself. Jesse is anxious to get on the bike as soon as possible, but first has to go through the medical procedure to fix his busted knee, then undergo a course of physiotherapy to restore him to peak physical health. In the meantime, he continues his job in police public relations, wearing a leg brace to fake his previous injury, to maintain his cover whilst involved with the Street Hawk project. Before Jesse can take the bike out for the first time, he's briefed on the specs and capabilities. Street Hawk is an all-terrain pursuit vehicle with an aerodynamic drag coefficient of 0.05. Friction is almost non-traceable. It's equipped with a hydraulic suspension system which can adjust to either off-road or street use. It features high-volume airboxes to boost horsepower. Its top cruising speed is 200 miles per hour, and in hyperthrust mode it can reach 300. Hyperthrust is a computer assist mode that's controlled remotely from the command center. Street Hawk is too complex a system to be piloted by just the rider, so the command center controller, who happens to be Norman, is tied in by audio and video, providing remote logistical assistance and having full control of the bike's technological systems. Specially designed airfoils take full advantage of negative airflow, enhancing the bike's braking capabilities so it can stop on a dime if necessary. A compressed air vertical lift system can launch the bike up to 30 meters through the air at the press of a button. The bike's security system also prevents theft by detecting if an unauthorized rider is present and activating the ejector seat. The bike helmet contains a head-up display showing statistical info like speed and more advanced features like optical zoom, infrared and night vision, and targeting systems which control the bike's advanced particle beam weapons. These can be tailored to either stun enemies or completely incapacitate larger targets like cars and trucks. Outside of the command center, Jesse continues to secretly investigate the death of his partner. He discovers suspicious activities in the police department, including evidence that has mysteriously disappeared. Unbeknownst to him, a police commissioner is secretly involved with the drug gang, which would explain why the murder case is being swept under the carpet. When Street Hawk sets out on its first practice assignment, we see that iconic launch scene for the first time as Jesse rides out from the control center through the secret exit hidden behind a billboard. We now see a series of very cool test maneuvers as Jesse gets a feel for the bike, and the computer-assisted hyperthrust is activated and tested for the first time, sending Jesse hurtling off into the distance, rapidly accelerating to over 300 miles per hour. As he's heading back to base, Jesse spots a mini-mart robbery in progress and swiftly incapacitates the getaway car using Street Hawk's particle beam weapons, then hightails it out of there with a quick burst of vertical lift just as the police are arriving. The next day there's a police press conference about the apprehension of the mini-mart robbers. Captain Altobelli tries to play down the presence of the mystery motorcyclist, but the press are only interested in the masked rider who stopped the robbers with red ray guns before flying away into the night. Needless to say, the public see this mystery man as a hero, but the police view him as nothing more than an unauthorized vigilante operating outside the law. In the process of Jesse's secret investigation, the link between the drug gang and the corrupt police commissioner is uncovered by his colleague Sandy, but she gets kidnapped by the commissioner before she can tell Jesse what she's found out. Meanwhile, Norman's hacking skills have uncovered information about another planned drug heist, so Jesse heads out on Street Hawk to apprehend the gang. He recognises the truck that ran him down in the desert, and makes the link between this gang and his partner's murder. With renewed vigour, he chases down the two drug gang motorcyclists who now stand very little chance of getting away thanks to Street Hawk. Back at the control centre, Jesse and Norman are able to review the mission footage of the drug gang's truck and identify the owner. Norman insists that the proper authorities should investigate the truck owner, but knowing that the police are somehow involved, Jesse locks him in a side room and takes out Street Hawk on his own, heading to the address of the drug gang leader. Norman uses his tech skills to escape the locked room, but cannot disable Street Hawk remotely as Jesse has sabotaged a vital part of the control panel. Over at the gang leader's mansion, where Sandy is being held, Jesse is conducting an all-out assault on the property. He comes across Sandy, who wonders who he is behind the helmet. He can't reveal his identity, so he introduces himself as Street Hawk. Jesse manages to overpower the goons, with help from Sandy's shoveling skills. Then he pursues the gang leader in his truck, who is now being chased by police patrol cars. Norman manages to regain control at the command centre after a makeshift repair, and decides to assist Jesse after some not-so-gentle persuasion in the form of Jesse threatening to give up the bike to the police. The patrol cars manage to lose the gang leader's truck, but Jesse pushes on in pursuit of the vehicle. Unfortunately, Street Hawk's weapon systems malfunction, frying communications with Norman in the process, so Jesse is now on his own. Robbed of weapons, Jesse comes up with an unorthodox plan. he allows the truck to chase him towards a cliff edge, but at the last moment he activates the bike's vertical lift and the airfoil brakes at the same time, triggering a spectacular backflip over the pursuing truck, which then plunges over the cliff, taking out the gang leader in the process. With the corrupt commissioner now in custody and the full truth exposed, Captain Altobelli tries some damage limitation at another press conference. He does not want the name Street Hawk released to the public, for fear that the mystery bike rider may be seen as some kind of folk hero. The press, obviously, are only interested in the masked rider, and in his frustration the captain inadvertently releases the folk hero's name by hastily stating that that's the last we'll ever see of Street Hawk. Cue now the final scene, which leaves us with another glimpse of that awesome launch sequence as Street Hawk leaps out into the unknown, presumably in pursuit of new and exciting adventures. The rest of the season's episodes consist of standalone stories, dealing with specific crime-fighting missions as Jesse lives his double life as a police public relations officer and as the mysterious crime-fighting motorcyclist known only as Street Hawk. For me personally, the excitement each week of seeing a new episode of Street Hawk was equal to the excitement I felt over new episodes of Knight Rider. The difference that gave Street Hawk the edge for me though, was the fact that as an 11-year-old boy on his bicycle, I could pretend I was riding on Street Hawk. Let's just say I went through a phase. I tried to paint my bike black and there was a sloped pavement leading out of the alleyway at the side of our house that used to be my Street Hawk launch ramp. I'd race up that ramp with the theme tune playing in my head as I sped off to adventures unknown around our housing estate. And let's talk about that music. Seriously, look it up on YouTube. That cool futuristic synth music produced by Tangerine Dream still gives me goosebumps to this day every time I watch it, overlaid with those awesome intro visuals of Jesse Mack speeding out into the night. I asked on social media for your memories of Street Hawk, and here's what some of you had to say. David Brown on YouTube. I remember watching this as a 10-year-old in 1985. I was into Knight Rider at the time, so this was a natural companion series. The 300 mph hyperthrust mode was insane. A short-lived series, and Knight Rider only lasted to the following year. Dino's Reviews on YouTube. It had an amazing theme tune by Tangerine Dream. I loved all of these types of shows, including Airwolf and Knight Rider. I also used to imagine my BMX was Street Hawk. Ivan Ferneyhower on YouTube. Absolutely awesome. I have it on DVD. I can't believe they only made one season. The theme tune was one of the best ever. Knight Rider, A-Team, Airwolf, Street Hawk. Television was just fantastic in the 80s. Mark Rigg on YouTube. Jesse Mark riding Street Hawk. Shame it only ran for one season. Some famous faces in it as well. George Clooney as Kevin Stark, Christopher Lloyd as Auntie Corrido, Don Swayze as Pug, to name but a few. They don't make them like they used to. I'd love to hear about your Street Hawk memories in the comments below, and be sure to let me know if you agree or disagrey with my opinions about Street Hawk and Knight Rider. Now if you'd like your thoughts included in a future Retrospectives video, be sure to follow me on Twitter at RetroSteveUK. I'll be posting requests on there and on YouTube whenever I'm working on a new video. I'll leave you now with a promotional TV spot for Street Hawk that aired back in 1985, but first I'd like to thank everyone who shared their comments, to thank you for liking and subscribing, and of course to thank you all for watching Retrospectives.
This is the man. This is the machine. This will be the year of the Street Hawk, beginning Friday, January 4th on ABC. This is Jesse Mack, an ex-motorcycle cop injured in the line of duty. Now a police troubleshooter. He's been recruited for a top-secret government mission to ride Street Hawk, an all-terrain attack motorcycle designed to fight urban crime, capable of incredible speeds up to 300 miles an hour and immense firepower. Only one man, Federal Agent Norman Tuttle, knows Jesse Mack's true identity. The man, the machine, Street Hawk.